So Matt, remember last time I gave you some flashcards, right?
Yeah.
And do you think they helped you when you learned the Chinese characters?
I think so. I think I'm doing pretty well now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so happy that the flashcards really helped you, but can I quiz you or test you to make sure that you actually remember the characters?
Go for it. I'm ready.
Okay, what is this character?
我
Very good! And how about this one?
吃
Yes, that's 是. Oh my goodness. Okay, how about the third one?
No problem.
You are really good.
吃
Yes, and the last one?
This is a piece of cake.
Really?
船
Really? Do you really think it's really easy? Too easy for you?
So easy.
Okay, you know what? I do have something a little bit harder though, but I don't know if you can take on the challenge. I mean, since you've been studying with the flashcards.
I'm pretty good.
Really? Okay, these are the characters that I taught you that day, but I put them together, so it might be a little bit hard. You want to give it a try?
Yeah, I got this.
Okay, let's see if the flashcards method will work on Matt.
Okay.
Okay.
吃葡萄不吐葡萄皮不吃葡萄倒吐葡萄皮
Good job!
Flashcards really work.
They are really good, and we're going to learn more about them today. Wow, that's awesome. Can you do it again?
吃葡萄不吐葡萄皮不吃葡萄倒吐葡萄皮
Wow! Awesome!
Flashcards are an excellent tool for recalling small bits of information and facts. But how can you use them effectively? First, flashcards are easy to carry around, so they can be used anywhere. As long as you have free time, you can take them out and have a short review session. Repeat this process often, and it will be easy for you to memorize the information.
Hello, I'm Matt.
And I'm Karen.
Today we're continuing with part 2 of Study Better with Flashcards.
That's right. And now we already learned many different steps in order to make this flashcard method effective, right?
Yeah.
So remember the first step was to choose on a format, right? And the second step was to organize your information.
Yes, and then after that we need to keep it simple. And our fourth and final step was to make it fun.
And that's definitely important because nobody wants to look at some boring flashcards, right? If you do have some interesting pictures or interesting graphs, of course it's going to help you remember them.
Yeah, it helps me remember for sure.
Okay, so let's learn more about this method. Flashcards are an excellent tool for recalling small bits of information and facts. But how can you use them effectively? Okay, so our first vocabulary word here is effectively, and that is an adverb. So when you say something that works effectively, that means it works really well. It's achieving the desired result. So, for example, the machine will work more effectively if you clean it regularly. So we know that it will definitely work really well if you clean it, like maybe on a daily basis or monthly basis. If it gets dirty, then it's not gonna work very effectively, right?
Okay, yeah, so make sure to keep your machines clean.
That's right.
All right, the article will continue with, first, flashcards are easy to carry around, so they can be used anywhere. So that brings us to another vocabulary word, which is anywhere. So anywhere is an adverb, and it means in any place. So when I say anywhere, I mean you can be on the bus, you can be walking to school, you can just be lying down in bed, and you can pull out your flashcards and read them, because in any place. So our example sentence says, Thomas can fall asleep anywhere. So,
Oh wow.
that's right.
I think I can do that too.
Can you? I'm not good at that. I'm always jealous of people who can fall asleep anywhere, because maybe you're on a long train or bus, or you can get some rest.
Okay, but you're talking about, you can carry it anywhere with you. But I think that's really important because we were talking about the apps that you can also make, right, on your phone or on the computer. And we have our phones all the time. So you can carry your flashcards, within the app. And then you can basically go anywhere with your phone.
That's right. So it's an easy way to bring them in your pocket everywhere you go.
Exactly. So as long as you have free time, you can take them out and have a short review session. Repeat this process often, and it will be easy for you to memorize the information. Okay.
Okay. So that brings us to another vocabulary word, which is process.
That's right.
Process is a noun, and it means a series of actions to make something or to reach a goal. So our example sentence says, the process of selecting a new board member will take several weeks. So that means that these actions that they need to take to get to the new board member will be completed after 6 weeks. So that's a whole long process. Okay, so the process of studying with flashcards is pulling them out and reviewing them.
Exactly, whenever you have time, right? And they mentioned the review sessions. I think it's very important to have these review sessions because after just looking at something once or twice, it doesn't really help you too much. But then if you look at it, many times throughout the week, throughout the month, it would definitely help you remember the content or the words that you are trying to learn.
Yeah, and with things like flashcards, it's much more convenient than like hauling around your textbooks everywhere in your bag because those are heavy. Just having some small flashcards either on the cards themselves or in your cell phone can be much easier than bringing heavy books everywhere.
Exactly, and I think people are more willing to look at cards rather than opening up like a really heavy textbook.
Yes, sure.
Right? Okay. Well, how about let's take a short break and we'll be back for more.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的课程学到了创作闪示卡的步骤，选定形式和样板，然后整理讯息，保持简单，让它变有趣。Karen 老师就提到说，可以加上一些有趣的图片或图表。老师说的 graph，G-R-A-P-H，graph 就表示图表。那在今天的课程呢，我们是要学习如何有效使用闪示卡来提升学习成效。首先，闪示卡呢，它很容易随身携带嘛，所以你在任何地方都可以用。只要你有空闲时间，就可以把它们拿出来做短暂的复习。那经常重复这样的过程，你就会很容易记住这些讯息。我们来看单字 effectively， 它是副词，表示有效地，也可以表达实际上的意思。那么 anywhere 这个副词表示在任何地方、到处。还有再看到 process。它可以当名词表达过程、程序，也可以当动词去表达处理、加工。那这边两个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，来看第一个重点是 as long as， 它是表达只要点点点就怎么样，用来引导条件子句。那也可以把它写作 so long as。举例来说 ，The dish is easy to make as long as you follow the recipe。只要你按照食谱，这道菜做起来就会很简单哦。好，那下一个重点，我们先来听两个句子哦。一句是说，赶快把功课写完，晚餐就帮你加一份鸡排。然后另外一句是说，赶快把功课写完，否则零用钱扣500。你喜欢听哪一句话呢？好，我们要学的句型就是像表达这一类的句子哦。我们来看句型是祈使句逗号 and 主词加动词，是表达要怎么样，那么点点点就怎么样。那如果是祈使句逗号 or 主词加动词，则是表达要怎么样，否则要不然怎么样怎么样。那这边我们来看到祈使句，它是表达条件。那你用 and 去加子句，就是表达完成条件后的结果；你用 or 去加子句，就是表达未能完成这个条件的后果。那就是用来提醒或是警告某人一定要做某事，或是一定不要做某事。我们就看一组例句 ：Apologize and I'll forgive you。你道歉，我就原谅你。Apologize or I'll never speak to you again。你道歉，否则我再也不跟你说话喽。好，那回到课文中。
Second, flashcards can help you identify areas of weakness. When you're using flashcards, always make 2 piles, one for the facts you remember and one for those you forgot. At the end of your study session, you can review the pile that you had difficulty with. Finally, always be sure to read your flashcards aloud. Reading aloud helps your brain store information in your long-term memory. Try it for yourself. Find a friend and quiz each other. Before you know it, your grades will go up, all thanks to your use of flashcards.
Welcome back, everyone. So we're still learning about flashcards, right? And the benefits that the flashcards bring.
That's right. And we're going to continue with our article here, which says, second, flashcards can help you identify areas of weakness. When you're using flashcards, always make 2 piles. One for the facts you remember, and one for those you forgot.
Okay, so that's what you're saying when you say that the flashcards help you with your weakness, right? Because through reviewing these cards, you will know which ones you remember, and some of the cards are actually your weaknesses, right? Because you cannot remember them.
That's right. So there's no need to just continue to study the ones you already know over and over just to make yourself feel good. You're like, oh, I got that one again. So you can put those in the pile for the cards you already know and focus on the ones that you're weaker at.
Actually, that's a really good idea. And that brings us to our next vocabulary word here, and that is pile, and that is a noun. Basically, a pile just means a group of things or objects that are placed on top of each other. So, for example, there is a pile of dirty clothes on the floor of Laura's bedroom. So that means they have a lot of clothes placed on top of each other, right? Okay, but that method, I think that really works. I've tried it before, you know, when I review the words or cards with my students, with my little kids in the class. I would use the flashcards, and if they already know the words, I put them in one pile. And if they don't know some that they're not so familiar, I put them in the other pile, and I will go through these cards again.
Oh, okay. But then the kids won't be as happy because they'll be always getting them wrong. And sometimes you just want to give them the easy one so they can feel good about themselves.
That's true. Okay, let's continue. At the end of your study session, you can review the pile that you had difficulty with. I think that's important, but you can also give them encouragement, right?
Yes.
If they find it difficult, and then once they remember this one, because you go through it more often, and they'll be like, good job! And then they will feel more confident.
I think that's good. So, finally, always be sure to read your flashcards aloud. Okay, and that aloud is another vocabulary word, and it's an adverb. So aloud means to read in a voice that can be heard, so not whispering. So reading aloud, so that other people could hear you. Hopefully there's not too many people in the room when you're studying. But it would mean other people could hear you if they are in the room.
That's true.
Jenny read the letter aloud to herself.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in a lot of movies you'll see people read things aloud so that the audience can hear what the person is reading.
That's true. But you know, that's actually one of the things that I love too, because I love reading, but I don't just like reading. I like to read aloud. I like to hear my own voice and listen to, you know, my intonation, pronunciation. I just find it really, really fun, and it helps me remember the things that I'm reading.
Okay, so you read aloud when you're reading a book?
Yeah.
Okay, that takes a lot longer,
articles
doesn't it?
and news articles. Yes. Well, whenever I can, I always read aloud. So you don't want to be in the same room as me. Okay, let's continue. Reading aloud helps your brain store information in your long-term memory. Try it for yourself. Find a friend and quiz each other. So when we say quiz each other, that means we ask each other questions. We test each other just to make sure that we understand what we're studying, right?
Yeah, so I could quiz you on what's the capital of...
Canada? Ottawa!
Okay.
Thank you. Before you know it, your grades will go up, all thanks to your use of flashcards.
Okay.
Okay, so we do have a what do you think question.
Yep, so do you agree that flashcards are a helpful study tool? Why or why not?
Well, you already know my answer. I told you from the very, very beginning, I am a visual learner. So I have to see something in order to learn it. If I don't see it, it's so hard for me to remember what I'm learning. How about you? I mean, at the beginning, you didn't think that using flashcards is a useful tool. How about now?
At first, I didn't really agree. I didn't think it was maybe the best way for me to learn. But after seeing how effective they were in helping me to learn, I think now that flashcards are a very useful tool.
I know. And then you did that tongue twister in Chinese, and that was just amazing, right? Okay, next time I'm going to teach you a few more tongue twisters, and you can show it off right here.
Okay, I'll be ready.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
那我们来看看第二个有效的使用方法。闪示卡呢，可以帮你找出比较弱的地方。你在使用的时候，就记得要分成2叠，一叠是放你记得的事实，一叠是放你忘记的事实。那在你学习时间结束的时候呢，你就可以去复习困难的那一叠了。好，而最后一个方法呢，是一定要把闪示卡念出声，要念出来哦。朗读念出声音可以帮助大脑把讯息储存在你的长期记忆当中。好，单字 pile 它可以指一堆一叠。那么 aloud 这个副词表示出声地、大声地。Karen 老师说，她阅读的时候习惯要念出声，那也可以顺便听听自己的语调和发音。老师说的 intonation 就表示语调、声调 ，pronunciation 则是发音的意思。那我们现在就学会如何创作以及如何有效使用闪示卡，同学们不妨自己试试看吧。课文最后就写到，很快地，你的成绩就会进步咯。那这边一个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看这个重点是 before you know it， 表示很快地，字面意思是在你知道之前，那就是用来描述某件事情它发生太快，在你还没有意识到之前，它就已经发生了。例如 ，if you keep practicing。You'll become a pro before you know it。如果你持续练习，很快就会变成一个专业高手喽，就很 pro。好，以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Flashcards are an excellent tool for recalling small bits of information and facts. But how can you use them effectively? First, flashcards are easy to carry around, so they can be used anywhere. As long as you have free time, you can take them out and have a short review session. Repeat this process often, and it will be easy for you to memorize the information. Second, flashcards can help you identify areas of weakness. When you're using flashcards, always make 2 piles, one for the facts you remember and one for those you forgot. At the end of your study session, you can review the pile that you had difficulty with. Finally, always be sure to read your flashcards aloud. Reading aloud helps your brain store information in your long-term memory. Try it for yourself. Find a friend and quiz each other. Before you know it, your grades will go up, all thanks to your use of flashcards.
Hi guys, I'm Stephen.
I'm Jamie.
We're going to play a game called Word Drop, where each of us has 3 words or phrases on these cards that we have not looked at yet. We're going to try to work it into a conversation as casually as possible, and Jamie will start the conversation.
Okay,
All right.
let's go.
Any day now.
Okay, so sometimes when you go to a restaurant, right, it can be a nice experience, right? You can go and have delicious food and listen to wonderful music, depending on what type of restaurant it is, right? And just have pleasant company, and it's a really good time, right? And especially depending on what type of food it is, right? It's like you can try something new. But sometimes the food is not good, right? Sometimes it's not a pleasant experience. But sometimes when the server comes over and asks you how is your food, you're kind of afraid to voice your real thoughts aloud.
Really? I'm not like that. I would just straight up be like, this really sucks, or I did not like this. But it doesn't mean I don't like the restaurant. Maybe it was just that particular meal. And sometimes it's just your personal opinion, right? You can just be polite about it, but it's good to be straightforward so they know. Yeah? So anyway, I think it's nice to be able to live in a city where there are a lot of restaurants that you can try. If you don't like that particular restaurant, you could go to the one next door. And it's so nice that you just basically go anywhere.
I think that's nice too. I think that's the benefit of city life is that you can go anywhere and it's convenient because you can walk or take public transportation if you don't have a car or bike or whatever, right? And it's all like decently close by. Versus if you're in the countryside and you don't have a car, you're kind of out of luck, right? But I think, yeah, with a lot of restaurants, it's nice to like choose where you want to go. Of course, it's sometimes hard to choose, right? There's so many choices, and with your friends, you're talking like, where should we go? And sometimes it's hard to communicate effectively.
That is true. But like, especially when you're trying to tell your friends like what restaurant you want to eat at, right? So then usually some people are in the mood for Italian, some people are in the mood for Chinese, blah, blah, blah. So then what I usually suggest is let's go to a buffet because buffets have an assortment of different types of food. So basically it's just like piles and piles and piles of food. I just love those piles.
I like those piles of food too.
Eat.
It's really good. And I think, yeah, the nice thing, right, is buffets, you can eat as much as you want too, right? Sometimes you get your food and it's not enough. But, you know, if you have buffets, it's unlimited. So yeah, that's really nice. The only thing is, yeah, sometimes it's kind of hard for me to understand, like, how can the restaurant produce so much food, like, so fast, like, all at once, right? But honestly, I just learned to trust the process.
Yes, it's always good to trust the process at a buffet. And for me, like I just eat at these buffets and then I eat so quickly that before you know it, you're full. You just have to pace yourself. You can't eat that fast. You have to eat slowly. That's the best tactic for a buffet.
See you next time.